Happy Friday afternoon. As you can see, I'm back to DIY aquaponics, the new systems, working on number 2 out of 5 of the aquaponics systems. Plumbing 2 of 5 100-gallon Rubbermaid stock tanks. It's going to be a fish tank. And as you can see, I've added my 8-inch. I cut a piece of 8-inch Schedule 40 PVC pipe, and I run that through my Unisil. And you're probably wondering, how did you get that through there? Well, I found an easy way to do it. Sliding it right through easily by using some dish detergent on the PVC pipe for lubricant, and it slides right through that Unisil. Watertight fit. So, something I learned from Rob Aquaponics. Check out Rob Aquaponics. That's ROB Aquaponics. And I can't give him enough credit. Learned a lot from him watching his channel and learned about Unisils. Let's talk about infrastructure. Let's talk about how very important it is to focus on one thing at a time, or at the most 2 things at a time, when building out your homestead, your garden, or your aquaponics microform, like I'm doing. Before you plant any seed, you need to have your infrastructure done first, period. You need to be focused on getting your infrastructure done. I don't care if you have a homestead, a garden, a farm, or you're doing aquaponics. The first thing you need to do before you plant any seed is focus on getting your infrastructure done first. Because what I'm seeing is too many people are trying to do too many things at one time. They're trying to grow food, they're trying to build their homestead up while they're growing food at the same time. And there's too many distractions, they end up getting nothing done. And they end up getting frustrated, and a lot of them end up quitting. So, people will sit out here and say, oh, you can grow food at the same time while you're building your homestead. That's a bad idea to me. That's a bad idea. Because you have to have one before the other. So, focusing on growing food and all that while you're trying to put in your systems, your infrastructure, and so forth. You're trying to get things done, whether it's irrigation, if you're planting in the ground, whether it's putting a water well in, if you have a homestead, so your fruit trees can have water, and your garden can have water. You need to focus on infrastructure. Get the infrastructure done first. And then once that's all done, then you can focus on your planting. When you're doing all these things at one time, there's only so many hours in the day. And your brain can only do so many things, people. Your brain can only do so many tasks before it starts to get burned out and you start to get stressed. And that's why a lot of people quit homesteading, they quit gardening, because they're not doing things in order. They don't have a plan. As you notice, I have a plan. Before I do any of this stuff, I put it on paper. I design it, I put it on paper, and then I start the actual fabricating of my DIY systems here, like you're seeing right now. And as you can see, I've already said the first 3 months of this year, 4 months, from here on all the way to May, I'm just going to be focused on getting my systems built, my infrastructure. I'm not planning anything right now, because me planting something right now is a distraction. I wouldn't be able to get all this done and focus on this stuff if I'm worried about planting and growing food for the spring. So you have to sacrifice one for the other to achieve the goal. The goal. Do one thing at a time or two things at a time at the most. But if you don't have your infrastructure up, you shouldn't be planning anything. I don't care what anybody tells you. You know, everybody's saying, "Oh, grow food. I gotta grow food. I gotta grow food. I gotta grow food. I gotta do both." You can't do both. You shouldn't be doing both, because when you're doing both, you're taking from the other. If I'm trying to grow food and so forth, then I'm taking from getting this and getting these projects done, getting these systems done. You get what I'm saying? So just be task orientated, task focused. Do your infrastructure first. Once your infrastructure is done, then you can go on to the next step. And if you say you got some land, once you get your infrastructure put in, you get your roads done, you get your water well dug, you get your solar up, you get your irrigation done, all your infrastructure done. Then after your infrastructure is in place, it's so much easier to focus on actually growing the food. Because now the infrastructure is done, you're not worried about it. You got water, you got electricity, you got roads on your property, so your equipment can get in there and start. You can start planting. The same with DIY aquaponics. It's the same thing. This is my infrastructure. It's no different. So this is Regenerative Life Wayne. Focus on one thing at a time. Infrastructure first before you plant anything, before you plant any seeds. Until next time.